Okay, I'd like to make a series of videos where each installment covers a specific emotion. In each installment, I think that by covering one emotion, it'll help you cultivate the ability to discern what the function of the emotion is, and also how to use the emotion, to use the experience as practice in who you might become. So let's start with the emotion of anxiety. Anxiety is a pervasive feeling that most of us carry around with us our entire lives because there is immense uncertainty and a potential for change within us. Emotions broadly hold two functions. The first function is it is meant to direct my behavior. Your emotions are meant to control you if you are not consciously choosing yourself. They provide the impetus for movement in the world. The other purpose of an emotion is that it influences the world and it influences others around you. So your emotions, in a non-judgmental sense, or perhaps at times in a judgmental sense, are meant to manipulate others. If I am anxious, my anxiety is going to affect others. That common saying that no one can make you feel, any specific way is absolutely untrue. We all know this. You know that if you're around someone who's really angry, it's probably going to spur anger in you. We are social animals with mirror neurons who interact through the language of emotions, through adopting and reacting to each other's emotions. And this is one of the principal concerns in the world, is that we are being controlled by our emotions. But the answer is not just, well, you can't or you aren't controlled by others and you're responsible for yourself. This makes no sense at all. You are meant to be receptive and open to other people's emotions. But the real issue is, can I relate to my own experiences so that I am not controlled by my experiences or even abstractly the experience of others that might be induced within me? So, two principal ideas with emotions. They are meant to direct you and they are meant to affect others. So let's take anxiety. Anxiety is meant, in terms of its direction of me and also its direction of others, meant to make me hesitant, to make me cautious, tentative, to perhaps slow down and to question my methodology, to be receptive to the variety of possible outcomes that might occur, and also to create a state of malleability of my sense of self. So external to me, I might, let's take the example of driving a car. If I'm anxious in driving the car, I might be much more open in terms of what I anticipate could happen, right? I see all kinds of possible scenarios, maybe even the worst case scenario playing out in my mind as a way of shifting my perspective so that the multitude of possibilities are not unexpected. My sense of self is also changed, where I become more malleable. Maybe I'm not such a good driver, right? Maybe I need more practice at this. Maybe the roads really are unsafe and there's something about me that can't tolerate or negotiate that correctly. So it gets both to the heart of uncertainty in the world and also my own capacity or potential for change. But it is often directed in extremes. When we identify with our anxiety, it controls us. And in controlling us, it does so in unseen ways, which usually include the extremes. So I catastrophize and I imagine the worst happening. This also doubles down on the anxiety in thinking in that sort of way. It makes me more anxious, which makes me more receptive, which makes me more open to possibilities, oftentimes catastrophic ones. So we need to intervene in this process. We need to see that anxiety is trying to get me to do something adaptive, but in and of itself, especially if I misrelate to it, it isn't going to be adaptive. So in seeing its function, that it's trying to influence my approach in those ways, I can consciously choose to approach those things in a measured and balanced way if they are useful. So some of the aspects of, say, catastrophizing, they're completely useless. We do that so that we will ultimately consciously choose. We become so anxious that you have to choose. You have no other choice. But we don't need to become that anxious or catastrophic in order to choose. We simply see that the emotion is trying to get me to be more receptive, to be more open, to consider more options and possibilities. But they need to be reasonable. So I consciously constrain myself to being rational. And what else might the emotion be asking of me? Maybe, okay, because maybe you aren't the best driver in the world. Maybe you need to practice driving with more skill. Maybe you need to be more present and aware. Maybe you need to be, in fact, in a contradictory state, which is more relaxed, so that you can sustain your approach to driving. So I can consciously see this is who I need to become. This is what I need to practice in response to the feeling of anxiety. I need to be more present. I need to practice my driving a little more, use this experience of driving as practice. I need to be more aware of the possibilities of driving, of other people around me. I can do all of this consciously because I don't need the anxiety anymore. I can release it. I can adopt this more constructive approach, and I can use it in who I might become. Because I am practicing how I relate to my anxiety, I can become more brave, more relaxed in the face of adversity, more rational, more even keel, more present. So we use whatever the emotion is, in this case, anxiety, in order to foster something that might be useful in our own self-creation. So practice this. Notice the next time that you're anxious. Know why it is that you're feeling the way you're feeling. That's the easy part. The more challenging and skillful part comes when we see, how is this emotion trying to influence me? What is its effect? What is the outcome of me feeling these feelings? And then we need to consciously choose how it is that we relate to that feeling in terms of who we become. This is all part of the real process of rational, emotional analysis in liberation. And if you see meaning and purpose in this discussion and looking at emotions in this way, I would suggest that you buy my book, or that you subscribe and like these videos and perhaps comment. I'm happy to make more about anxiety, about its functions, about how we might relate to it with your specific examples. So thank you very much, and I will see you at the next one.